Philadelphia cream cheese stuffed meatloaf in phyllo dough.
My name is Catherine O'Connell, and I'll be preparing this for Philadelphia cream cheese and Paula Deen. First thing we do is we take a pound of hamburger. I like the 93% lean, and then I take and I mix to that chopped onions. And then to that I take and I have some chopped up celery. Love roasted red peppers, so I like to put in some chopped up roasted red peppers. And on top of that I like to put some Romano and Parmesan cheese. Of course, there's nothing better than hand grated. And I usually take and chop my own parsley. Now this meatloaf, if you notice, could serve 2 people, and you could actually make this meatloaf out on the grill. Since it's 1 egg, and then it is probably maybe a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, and I like to put salt and pepper, and to give my meat a really good taste, in my house dressing, or seasoning actually, and I use what they call this original seasoning all. I don't know, it just gives it that smoky flavor, I think, and punch to it. So then I take and I mix my meatloaf all and thoroughly, make sure all the ingredients is all together. Now it's up to you. You can add a clove of garlic to this. You know what? I think I'm going to. It'll take me just a second to add it. Chop it up, add it. I usually crack the garlic and peel the skin. And sometimes it lets me do it, sometimes it don't. Well, today it's going to be obstinate because I want to do it fast. But I will succeed anyway. There we go. And just put some real fine slices in there. Okay. And what I do is kind of try to flatten it out a little bit on without the wax paper at first. I know it looks kind of soft, but you kind of really don't want it as thick as you would probably make your other meatloaves. So you really don't want a lot of breadcrumbs in this one, because you want it kind of juicy. Take this, and you can use your hands, you can use anything. Just kind of flatten it evenly around so you can put your stuffing inside of it. Now, my stuffing consists very easily of some Philadelphia cream cheese, some peppers and onions, and mushrooms. But I like red roasted peppers. I don't know why, they're just so good. And they make everything taste so good. So I take a really heaping, maybe tablespoon at first, cream cheese, put that there, and kind of flatten it out a little, like that. Set this aside for a second. Then I put my roasted red peppers in the center, and then I take some of my nice already sauteed mushrooms and onions. Now, you think that's all the Philadelphia cream cheese we're going to put in there? You're so wrong. We're going to take a couple more heaping tablespoons of cream cheese. And we're going to just flatten that right out on top of that. When I like to stuff my stuff, I really like to stuff my stuff. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat, because as it cooks, it's going to all incorporate all around inside that meatloaf. Now, I like to take just a little extra cheese. So I add just a little Romano and Parmesan inside. Now this is where this comes in handy. Take this and you just fold it together, pinch it, peel one side. Kind of saves you from getting your hands all messy. Do it the way like here, and then do it like this there. And you kind of have like what you call a meatloaf square. And you're not losing your stuffing, and your meatloaf is pretty much tucked in there. And you can set this aside for a couple of seconds. Let's get this out of the way. Now what I do is, here's my dough mixture. Now I take the dough and I open it up. You got to be very careful with this dough because it is paper thin and it dries out very, very fast. So usually what a lot of people do is once they open up the container of dough, they usually take and put a semi-damp cloth over top of it so it will not dry out. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can work with this without having to let it down any. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to take some of that butter mixture that I just made with the olive oil and put it down on the foil. Then I'm going to take a slice of the paper thin dough, lay it down on top of that, and butter that. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 sheets of this. And just put a little butter there, take another. You notice I'm grabbing 2 sheets at a time because this stuff is so thin that, and your meatloaf is so juicy that you really need to have a good base of dough. Okay, so we took the meatloaf that I made up in a square and we take the sheets individually and we're going to fold them onto it so they kind of hold together. Up like that. And we're going to drizzle some little EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, on top. Just like this. We go back so it's nice and brown. Then we're going to punch it up like this. Fold it up just like this. Pinch the ends. You gotta give it a little breathing room so it can puff up while it's cooking. And we're going to take this out once again. And like I said, my grill is so magic, it's already done. Now, all we're going to do is just take it out of its little case. Whew, kind of hot. And there you have the best cream cheese